What is up, awesome people of the internet? Guys, well, rivalry week has started, but everyone's injured, so who cares? Also, A'ja Wilson is absolutely fantastic, but is that anything that we didn't know? Also, Odyssey Sims is back in the WNBA. Will she stick with this team? That and more on today's episode on Quita in the Morning, which starts right now.
Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Are you ready? Ready, set, go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into what happened over the weekend, because this is basically your weekend update of sorts. Hopefully y'all are interested in that. Again, good morning. Okay, lots of stuff to get into. But first, guys, actually, I want to start here. I want to start at this moment. All right, I'm calling it a rivalry dud. Guys, Rivals Week has started for the WNBA. It started officially on Saturday. And Rivalry Week will continue from, it started on the 9th. It will continue through the 17th. And there are some big time rivalry games to talk about. Y'all know the rivals, the Chicago Sky versus the Indiana Fever. Yeah, you know that rivalry, right? Angel versus Caitlin, Sky versus Fever. But wait. Caitlin's out, right? Angel's out too. Oh, the Sky have been terrible all year? Wow. Oh, the Fever are substantially better than them? Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, this rivalry isn't a real rivalry? Oh, it was a blowout? A blowout? In this game? In this rivalry game? Oh my goodness. What a start to Rivals Week. Two of the main players you try to put against each other are out. And a rivalry game, which should be a close game, ended up being a blowout. So, what a rivalry game. What a rivalry game. Wow. Okay. Interesting. Okay. So the Chicago Sky ended up taking down. No. The Indiana Fever ended up taking down the Chicago Sky, and it wasn't much of a game, 92-70. Yeah. Move on to the next rivalry game. Next rivalry game, we got the Minnesota Lynx versus the New York Liberty. They didn't play at all against each other in the first half of the year. You wanted to save it for the end, right? You wanted to save it for the end. The champs versus the would-be champs. The champs versus the team that still believes that cheating was happening. And that they were the real winners, right? That's a real rivalry, right? Breanna Stewart versus Napheesa Collier, right? That's a rivalry. But Napheesa's out. And it looks like Breanna Stewart might not return towards the end of August. But still a game. Still a game to watch. And it was a good game. It really was. Ultimately, the Minnesota Lynx did win over the New York Liberty, but some of that flair of rivalry, it was a dud of sorts, because the two main players are out. Well, it was still a really good game. It still was, right? But yeah. Interesting. We got the Phoenix Mercury versus the Atlanta Dream. Not necessarily really a rivalry, but it was an opportunity for Brittney Griner to play against her former team. So that's some sort of a rivalry of sorts, right? She wanted to show up and show out, and her team showed up and showed out and took down the Mercury. So that, my friends, was a very good game. It was. That was a good rivalry game. So what else do we have left for this week? What else do we have for this rivalry week? Well, we have the Indiana Fever 2 more times against more made-up rivalries. Okay? We got the Indiana Fever versus the Dallas Wings. Why in the world are they rivals? Why are they rivals? Well, Paige Becker's number 1 pick this year. Going against, well, maybe Caitlin Clark, number 1 pick last year. If she's back and if she plays. There was also another piece to this rivalry in that NaLyssa Smith ended up going to the Dallas Wings. Now she's no longer on the Dallas Wings. But like at the time, it made, I guess, kind of sense. Kind of. A little bit of sense. Even though they don't really it's not really a rivalry between Indiana and Dallas. But sure, make it into a rivalry. Will Caitlin even play? Because she's still on her way back from injury? Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, Sai, that's what I'm getting at. Yeah, they're not actual rivals. And then to kind of cap off rivalry week, we have the awesome rivalry between the Las Vegas Aces and the Indiana Fever. News to me that was a rivalry. That's a rivalry? When did that become a rivalry? When? I'm confused. Is it because A'ja Wilson is on the Aces and she was the MVP and she got a lot of the attention, while everyone was focused on the future of the WNBA and Caitlin Clark? Is it because it's South Carolina versus South Carolina and A'ja and Aaliyah? I'm confused. What exactly is the rivalry part of it? Anyway, I wanted to start off with this because a point that I am trying to make, which I was trying to lead with sarcasm, but maybe, whatever. So if you all think I was actually like legit serious, I was trying to be sarcastic. And the reason why is because the WNBA, they sold Rivalry Week. Rivalry Week was a sold package, right? For sponsorship, of course. But the unfortunate part was you schedule Rivalry Week towards the end of the season. What are we doing? When we have the most games ever in WNBA history, the shortest time frame between games at about 2 days between games for most teams. And you want to schedule Rivalry Week that is built upon the big names of the game. You wait till the end of the season, towards the end of the season, to schedule that. Why? And now you're surprised. You're surprised now with the results, right? You're surprised that the star players that you had this whole thing built upon, they're out, they're hurt, they're injured. Why did you wait? I'm all in favor of doing a rivalry weekend. But any rivalry weekends need to be towards the beginning of the season. If you're going to continue to cram so many games in a very small amount of time, dog, what we doing? Have that stuff early in the season when players are actually healthy. Don't schedule a whole bunch of games in a historically, a high season in terms of injuries, and then be surprised that like, oh, everyone's hurt. Yeah, this is injury. This is not rivalry week. This is injury week. That's what this is. Injury week. That is exactly what this is. And the thing I find interesting is like, this is like one of the graphics that one of the NBA affiliates put out. And the thing I found hilarious about it is that there's actually an opportunity for a real legit rivalry in the WNBA. And that is the Golden State Valkyries versus the LA Sparks. Now, that game on Saturday ended up being a blowout. Shout out to the Golden State Valkyries. But that is more of a rivalry than Indiana versus Aces or Indiana versus Dallas. That's more of a rivalry because it's within the state and it's like a whole deal, right? So yeah. And with that, let's move on to. I just had to get off my chest because I was like, this makes no sense. This makes no sense to have rivalry weekend or week towards the end of the season when you knew everybody was going to be injured. You knew it. Sterling says storylines have not been established. You mean if we had rivalry weekend earlier in the season? I mean, rivalry week is not established now. They just made up. Let's put Indiana against all these teams, and let's call it rivalry weekend when it's really not. Thank you, W says you can't predict injury, but you can predict not enough rest/recovery would lead to injury. Yes. 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 Olivia says, will there ever be a point where players would just do unrivaled only to keep healthy? I mean, unrivaled increase in the payday. So, hey, who knows what may happen? Okay, who knows? All right. Tisha says, it feels like some of the teams are just suiting up at this point, and the W is saying, well, we had a game, so we met our part of the agreement. No pride in the quality of product. Wow, that's sad. That's sad. And when it comes to the quality of product, guys, let's talk about the games that happened this weekend. That feels like a great segue, right? Feels like a great segue. And guys, yes, we're gonna be talking about putting some respect on some people's names, okay? We about to get into that. The whole topic of the show, we about to get into it. But first, I wanted to start off with rivalry week and how not smart it was in terms of a scheduling perspective. And also, like, really, yeah, anyway. Well, right now, they only have WNBA players, but I could see in the future, I could absolutely see in the future, in about a year or two from now, that Unrivaled would have players who were in the WNBA and decided not to be in the WNBA, and they just did Unrivaled. Like, I could totally see that happening. I could totally see it happening. Okay. Now let's get to the games that we saw over the weekend. First, let's start off with Saturday. Saturday we saw at the start of rivalry week, we saw two blowouts. First blowout was the Indiana Fever versus the Chicago Sky. I mean, y'all, Indiana Fever just cooked the Sky. They cooked them. I did a video about it. I'm not going to go too far into it, but I will say this. Kelsey Mitchell is her. She continues to be amazing. And she continues to rock out with this team. Hey, you better watch out. You better watch out because Kelsey Mitchell is going to knock down bucket after bucket after bucket. She had 26 points in Saturday's game. We also saw Lexi Hull come off the bench and give not come off the bench. She was coming off the bench before. She did start on Saturday, and she had 17 points. So fantastic game for both Kelsey and Lexi. All right, let's move on to the other game that happened on Saturday, and that was the Golden State Valkyries taking down the LA Sparks. Now, guys, this is a real rivalry to me. This really is, because it's California versus California. We have seen some awesome games so far this year between these two teams. Now, was Saturday an awesome game? It was if you're a Valkyries fan, because the Valks took care of business against the LA Sparks. And y'all, the Valkyries are continuing to be this team that I am just like, I just love to watch. I absolutely love to watch this team play because they play together, and you never know who's going to step up. And on Saturday, we saw Cecilia Zana-Lassini. She stepped up and stepped out. 14 points for her, 4 threes in her bag. We saw Veronica Burton have a big game as well. Just overall greatness for the Golden State Valkyries. And they did it in front of Valhalla. 18,000 fans in attendance. And guys, they have an egg outside of their arena, which means that their mascot is coming today. Okay? Yeah. Crank that says Plum with a dirty play. Yeah. I forgot who it was. Basically, Kelsey Plum got beat on defense, and then she stuck out her leg. And guys, in my opinion, no one asked for it, but I'm gonna give you my opinion on that. That was a flagrant 2. In my opinion, that what Kelsey Plum did, literally sticking out her leg like that was a flagrant 2. And y'all may disagree with that, but that should have been called a flagrant 2. Straight up, because kicking your leg that high, that has no place in women's basketball. It has no place in basketball, period. So, yeah. It wasn't called that, but that should have been a flagrant 2. Flagrant 2. Hands down. Flagrant 2, absolute ejection. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about with the refs. You can't allow that type of stuff. You can't. Now, do I believe that Kelsey Plum tried to hurt Veronica Burton? No. But Kelsey Plum got beat, and she did what she just stuck her foot out. And it was a dumb decision, but that should have been an ejection. That should have been an ejection. Flagrant 2. Out. No way. Seriously. Like, I don't understand how that was not an ejection. I don't get it. Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on to yesterday's games, which had some awesome stuff that we saw. We saw some fantastic games yesterday, and I was over at my parents' house for the most part. And we just saw some awesomeness. Okay, first of all, let's start up from the beginning. We saw the Minnesota Lynx versus the New York Liberty. Now, again, guys, this was a rivalry game, right? This was a big stinking deal. And I gotta say, guys, y'all, the Minnesota Lynx showed up and showed out yesterday. I'm talking about Caleb McBride. I mean, we all know that Caleb McBride can knock down shots like crazy, but she was on fire yesterday. 4 threes in yesterday's game. Ultimately, she scored 18 points in this one. She was a huge spark for the Minnesota Lynx. We also saw Courtney Williams do her thing as well. 7 assists, 14 points for her. And then Dejanay Carrington, guys, y'all. That's hilarious. Shamika says, "You mean you were at our parents' house?" Yes. That's hilarious. Anyway. I gotta say, I think my mom mentioned it yesterday. Somebody mentioned it yesterday about Dejanay Carrington being with this team and how she just fits. Dejanay Carrington fits so well with the Minnesota Lynx. So well. 15 points for her, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. And Dejanay Carrington, like, she was like a big time bucket. Big buckets for Dejanay Carrington. And like, yo, you gotta love to see it. You gotta love to see it when a player gets traded somewhere mid-season, and you know the player's good, but you wonder how exactly they're gonna fit, and boom. I mean, yeah, she fits really well. Fits really well. And Dejanay Carrington is a huge reason as to why the Minnesota Lynx win. That's why you make a trade to get a player like Dejanay. That's why you make that trade. Because not only can she give you offense, but you all know she can give you defense. You know, and so that was absolutely fan-freaking-tastic. Okay? So shout out to Dejanay Carrington, man. You know, you fitting in well with your new team. You are fitting in really well. All right, we also saw the Washington Mystics take down the Dallas Wings. Now, guys, y'all, can we talk about the rookies? Can we talk about the rookies, guys? This Washington Mystics team is so fun to watch. They are so fun to watch, guys. And the thing I love about this team is it starts with the rookies. Kiki Irafin just had a phenomenal game. Absolutely phenomenal. 23 points for her, 10 rebounds. She was on fire. And then Sonia Citron. Sonia Citron provides offense for days. She is just she's so fantastic. She really is. She's very fantastic. 18 points for her. 6 assists, 5 rebounds. Like, dog, Sony is fire. Sony is fire. And at some point, maybe we'll talk about it tomorrow. At some point, you kind of got to think about record when it comes to postseason awards. You kind of have to think about it, right? You kind of have to think about not just who's the best player, but who's the best player on the best team when you're thinking about awards. I'm just saying. Yeah, I'm just saying. Okay? Just saying. And I have to say, I think somebody put this already. But can we talk about JC Sheldon real quick? Kind of similar to how I talked about. W. Bazile said it. Yeah, JC just fits with that Mrs. thing. Yeah, similar to how I talked about how Dejanay Carrington just seems to fit really well with the Minnesota Lynx. Yo, JC Sheldon fits very well with the Washington Mystics. Very well. She came off the bench, gave a lot of really good minutes. Like, overall, I think she just looks comfortable out there. I think she looks very comfortable. Okay? Very comfortable. Very comfortable. And so, yeah. Ultimately, the Washington Mystics take care of business. And for the Dallas Wings, it's like, hey, Paige Becker showed up, but no one else really did. And the Dallas Wings lose again. So, yeah. All right. Let's continue on. We're going to breeze through the rest of these games because I have a special segment I want to do specifically on A'ja Wilson. And I have a segment I want to do specifically on Odyssey Sims that we have coming up. So I want to breeze by the rest of this stuff real quick. We also saw the Atlanta Dream take down the Phoenix Mercury. Guys, I got to say, I was animated yesterday watching this game because I was like, how in the world? And, okay, in my opinion, Yes, both of these teams had the same record coming into yesterday. But in my opinion, the Phoenix Mercury are better than the Atlanta Dream. They're a better team with better players. However, y'all, the Phoenix Mercury play like crap. Overall, they had a lot of really good moments, but at the end of the day, nobody showed up for Phoenix besides Alyssa Thomas and DeWanna Bonner. That was it. I was like, Satu, where you at? Kalia Kappa, where you at? What's going on? And they couldn't do anything. I mean, I tell you, Alyssa Thomas would have had a double-double yesterday if it wasn't for all those missed shots. She would pass, really good pass, and you just brick the shot. Just miss. Like, it's just, I was just like, what in the world? Like, again, guys, I come into games, I don't care who wins, but I have a thought of who's going to win. And I'm like, okay, well, this is the better team, and here's why, and that's why they should win, and yada, yada, yada. But a lot of the positives about this Phoenix Mercury team didn't show up yesterday. Of course, Alyssa Thomas is gonna get hers, right? 21 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists for Alyssa Thomas, right? She's gonna get hers, and she's gonna get some really good passes as well. It's up to her teammates to make shots, and they just weren't making shots, right? DeWanna Bonner, once again, has great production off the bench. And also, I gotta say, shout out to Natasha Mack. I thought Natasha Mack gave some huge minutes. I thought she was very good. Now, Natasha Mack ended up with 2 points, but it's not all about points. It's about how the player plays overall. And I thought Natasha Mack gave some fantastic minutes, specifically on the defensive end. But Satu and Ka disappeared. Completely disappeared. And then we have the Atlanta Dream. Guys, pray for Jordan Canada. Jordan Canada went down in this game, and she was driving to the basket, and Alyssa Thomas was defending her. And I consider it a non-contact injury because, yes, was Alyssa Thomas going with her to the basket? Absolutely. But the injury that she had, there was no contact to that part of her body. And because of that, I do consider this a non-contact injury, and this looks really bad. It looked really, really bad. I don't want to say what I think it looks like, but y'all kind of know what happens when players go down with seemingly non-contact injuries. I hate it. But Jordan Canada had to get helped off the court. Couldn't really put any pressure on her leg. But yeah, it was bad. It was bad. But I will say this. I will say shout out to the Atlanta Dream for rallying the troops and getting this win for Jordan. Now, before Jordan got hurt, she had 13 points in this game, and everybody else kind of stepped up as the game went on. Right? We saw Naz Hillman and Bree Jones give double doubles in this one. 13 and 13 for Naz, and I continue to love Naz. Like, Naz is fantastic. I gotta say it. Naz is one of those players who just continues to work, and she doesn't get a ton of recognition. She doesn't get a ton of appreciation, I would say, from the fans at large, with some people still not even knowing who she is. But that girl works so hard. And when Naz Hillman, especially this year, she's going to knock down those threes. She had 3 threes yesterday, which is awesome to see. We saw Bree Jones do her thing as well. 15 points, 11 rebounds for Bree. She was rocking and rolling, guys. Another thing, Brittany Griner was back in the lineup. Didn't start, came off the bench. But it's good to see her healthy. She was dealing with a neck injury, but she's back. Ryan Howard is also back. She was out for a long time. Well, not a good while. She was out for a good while due to injury. Now she's back. She did come off the bench yesterday, played around 16 minutes, had 4 points. But it's good to see the Atlanta Dream finally healthy. Finally healthy. Finally. And you gotta love to see it, okay? All right. And yeah, I do like Pow Pow. I do like Pow Pow and how she's playing on this team. She didn't do a ton of points, right? 5 points, but like she does bring an impact, and I really do like her in the starting lineup. I'm interested to see how that continues, because it won't. Once Ryan Howard is like fully ready to go, it's very likely that Tina Pow Pow will be knocked off of the starting lineup. But with Jordan Canada's injury, maybe she stays in. There's a question mark about whether or not Tina Pow Pow will stay in the starting lineup or not. Also, yes, I forgot to mention it. Yes, Ryan Howard did get ejected. She had 2 techs in yesterday's game, and she was pissed at the refs, man. She was so mad. She was so mad, guys. So mad. So mad. But hey, I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. But because her team won. Now, if her team would have lost, then that's a different story. If you're gonna wind up and get ejected, you better make sure your team win. That's all I got to say. Okay, that's all I got to say. Thank you so much, Stern, for the super chat. Says Saturday's schedule made no sense. Only 2 games at the same time. Why not 8 and 10 time slot? Yeah, it's very weird sometimes where like you have barely any games and they happen at the same time, and then you have Sunday where you have 5 different games happening on Sunday. Like, couldn't at least one of those games you played on Saturday or be moved to today? There's some thoughts there. Some thoughts there. Thoughts to chew on, All right, let's continue on. We got 2 more games to quickly talk about. We have the Seattle Storm versus the LA Sparks, guys. What's going on in Seattle? Does anyone know what in the world is going on in Seattle? I continue to be confused. Because Seattle, in the last 2 seasons, Seattle has done the same thing. Ultimately, we see the Los Angeles Sparks beat the Seattle Storm. The final score of that game was 94-91. Guys, what's going on? What's going on with Seattle? The reason why I say what's going on is because every year, not every year, last year and this year, I have come into the season thinking, okay, the Seattle Storm team, they got a lot of good talent. They got a lot of awesome talent. Okay, what they gonna do? They about to be good. And then they have certain moments where they're looking really, really good, looking like an elite team in the WNBA. And then they have moments like this where they've lost, 5 games straight for the Seattle Storm? Like, Seattle, what are you doing? What are you doing, Seattle? I just don't get it. Seattle is a way, talking about the better team winning, Seattle is a way better team than LA, in my opinion. Now, you all may disagree, but in my opinion, Seattle is way, way better. They didn't play like it, though. Not at all, guys. Right? And this is the rematch against LA. I guarantee you, after that double overtime game on the first, when LA took down Seattle, guarantee you Seattle was pissed about that. They were pissed. That started them off on literally a 5-game losing streak. And so I came into this one thinking, oh, Seattle got this. They are the better team, and they're pissed because they lost to LA in overtime. And remember, guys, they lost in double overtime at home. So, yeah. I thought the emotions were going to be there, and I thought Seattle was going to take care of business. But, yeah. Dog. Dog, what we doing? What we doing? What we doing? Seattle. Basically, guys, Seattle from the get-go was the Brittany Sykes show yesterday. Brittany Sykes, I believe, had the first 4 attempts of the game for Seattle. And that basically continued as the game went on. Now, shout out to Brittany Sykes. 27 points for her. Right? But it felt like the team really wasn't playing together, right? Like really running real plays. I just don't get it, right? So 27 for Brittany Sykes. She did her thing, right? Skylar Diggins, 17 points. Right? Nneka Ogwumike, 15. 10 rebounds. Right? You got Dominique Malonga, who dominated, guys. Dominique Malonga, oh my God. Like, I've said it before. I must say it again. I said it before, 2 weeks ago, I think? I'm going to say it again. Dominique Malonga needs to be in the starting lineup. At what point do you put her in the starting lineup? She played 30 minutes yesterday because she was on fire. Double-double, 20 points, 11 rebounds, like huge minutes for Dominique Malonga. Huge. At some point, you have to put Ezi Magmagor on the bench and start Dominique Malonga. At some point. Okay? I'm just saying. Like, at some point, you got to do that. Now for the LA Sparks, I gotta talk about Cool Lives and Stats says it's a Malonga time. It is Malonga time. Like, she was great. I loved watching Dominique Malonga. I thought she was great. Philotima says a Sykes ball hogs. Here's the thing. Like, it felt like Brittany Sykes needed to ball hog because it felt like they were just like, hey, go and score. I don't know. It felt like they wanted her to keep the ball and they wanted her to take over and do all the stuff. At least it seemed that way. Now, I didn't listen to the post-game presser, but just watching the game, it seemed like Seattle was very cool with deferring to Brittany Sykes. And she gave them points. But for me, with Seattle, it wasn't really an offensive issue like that. It was a defensive issue with just messing up, man. Just absolutely messing up. So yeah. Anyway. But 5-game losing streak for Seattle. All right. Anyway, what was the LA Sparks doing? Well, the LA Sparks was hooping. They were hooping. And everybody was getting involved, which is what I love, right? We first started off in this game. I thought this was about to be a blowout. When the game first started, guys, I saw LA struggle bust to score. Like, they couldn't do really anything early in the game. When the game first started, they were getting cooked. At one point, guys, the score was 20. Seattle Storm, 5. LA Sparks. 20-5. And then all of a sudden, guys, the LA Sparks start to come back, right? Start knocking down threes, right? Kelsey Plum knocked down a 3. We saw Rickea Jackson knock down a 3. Then it comes the second quarter with Ray Burrell. Shout out to Ray Burrell. Ray Burrell had a fantastic second quarter. I thought she was great. She finished the game with 8 points in total. She did her thing. And Cam Brink too. Cam Brink was fantastic. Cam Brink, let me tell you her stats real quick. Let me tell you. Cam Brink had 14 points, 5 rebounds in 11 minutes. 11 minutes, guys. She's on fire. She was great. She was absolutely great, guys. And in that second quarter, the LA Sparks systematically took down the Seattle Storm. Again, started with Ray Burrell. Ray Burrell came in that game and brought energy. She made it happen. Now, again, I talk about players who have the most points in the game, and that's important. But you have to talk about the people who made it happen, right? The people who the unsung heroes of the game. And to me, Ray Burrell, unsung hero. Cam Brink, unsung hero of yesterday's game. They don't score the most points. They don't. But in terms of impact, tons and tons and tons of impact. Huge. Hugely impactful. Hugely. All right? And then, of course, you got the usual suspects. When it comes to LA Sparks, who have we been talking about for the last couple of weeks? We've been talking about Rickea Jackson. We've been talking about Azurá Stevens. We've been talking about Dearica Hamby, right, and Kelsey Plum. Now, yesterday, Rickea Jackson did not have a great scoring game. She didn't. She did not shoot efficiently, but that happens sometimes. That absolutely happens. Kelsey Plum showed up and showed out. 3 threes for her, 20 points in her bag. But this game was won and lost by the 2 post players for the LA Sparks. Azurá Stevens and Dearica Hamby, guys. Azurá Stevens probably should have been an all-star. Doesn't nearly get the respect and attention that she deserves. But Azurá Stevens is a legit bucket. I'm talking, here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. Fast forward to the end of the game. Fast forward. We got about 2 minutes left to go. Like 2 minutes and 30 something, 30 left to go in the game. The Seattle Storm are winning by 7. So Seattle had it at the beginning of the game. They lost it, got it back, and we're 2 minutes left to go in the game. Seattle's winning by 7. 7. Then we see Azurá Stevens. Azurá Stevens proceeds to score 5 points in about 20 seconds. 5 points in 20 seconds. Made a layup, then makes a 3. Off of two defensive, good defensive efforts, okay? So now, we had a 7-point game. And in the span of about 20 seconds, now it is just a 2-point game. Just a 2-point game. Seattle calls a timeout. Brittany Sykes turns the ball over. Dearica Hamby gets to the rim. Fouled by Dominique Malongo. Dearica Hamby gets to the free throw line. Calms herself down. She's thinking in her head, probably, y'all, I need to win this game. I don't need us to go to overtime because my daughter got school tomorrow. That's what I'm envisioning in her head. She calmed down, sinks both free throws. We're all tied up. We got about a minute left to go. We are all tied up. Then, on the other end, Skylar misses a layup. Azare, as she has been doing, gets the board. Gets it to Kelsey Plum. Kelsey gets fouled. 2 shots. Makes them both. Boom. Fantastic. 2-point lead by the LA Sparks, right? 2-point lead. Brittany Sykes gets the ball and says, you know what? No, this is a new team for me, but I got to put this team on my back. I got to do it. Brittany Sykes gets to the rim, makes a layup. Boom. Tied up again. And now in my head, I'm thinking, OMG, this is about to be a double overtime game again. We about to go to overtime again. But not quite. Not quite. After that layup by Brittany Sykes, we had about 12 seconds left to go in the game. And yeah. Dearica Hamby gets the ball, goes for a layup. Gets fouled, makes a free throw, boom, 3-point game. Storm call a timeout, try to inbound the basketball. Was it Julie Alleman who got the steal to close out the game? And it was over. And yeah, LA Sparks ripped the soul out of the Seattle Storm. They ripped the soul out of this team. Beat them in a double overtime game to lead this Seattle Storm team to lose 5 games in a row. And then yesterday, the Belgium burglar, Julie Alleman, steals the last chance that the Seattle Storm had of winning this game or tying this game up. Sure, Brittany Sykes does her thing in this one, but the team ended up losing. And the Seattle Storm, who played very siloed of sorts at certain parts in this game, lost to a well-oiled machine team in the LA Sparks. Yeah, I'm just saying. Okay. All right, and then finally we have the Las Vegas Aces that end up taking down the Connecticut Sun. The final score of that game was 94-86. Now, I'm not gonna get it too much into this game because I'm about to talk about A'ja Wilson because she was great and dog. She's A'ja Wilson. I don't know what else to say about that. But in this game, this is actually a closer game than I expected, but not totally, I guess. The more I think about it, I guess I shouldn't have expected it not to be a close game because the Connecticut Sun have been playing really, really good of late. We saw Marina Mabrey go off yesterday, 22 points for her. But Sanaya Rivers also, shout out to Sanaya Rivers. Sanaya Rivers is just one of those players who just work. She doesn't have the best shot in terms of just like overall mechanics and efficiency. But yesterday she was on fire. 70% from the field, 17 points for her. Like she was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. But that was no match, guys. That was no match for the Las Vegas Aces. Because, first of all, shout out to Dana Evans. Dana Evans had 10 points yesterday. I thought she gave some really, really good minutes. 2 big-time threes for the Aces. Like, shout out to Dana Evans. Okay. And, of course, we got a shout-out to Jackie Young because Jackie Young was fire. 21 points for her. She's great. But, guys, when it comes to yesterday, there's only one story that really needs to get written. Yes, other people had great games and they were great, and isn't that fantastic? Sure, that's wonderful, wonderful. But what I want to talk about is someone by the name of A'ja Wilson. Y'all, I guess we kind of got to talk about it. because, yeah. You all see the stat on the screen, right? You all see that? You all see what A'ja Wilson continues to do night in and night out. It's insane, guys. It's insane to watch A'ja Wilson continue to play and just continue to dominate. So let's get into what A'ja Wilson did, because yesterday A'ja Wilson just made WNBA history, and she might be coming for another MVP. I titled this thing "Put Some Respect on Her Name," and that's exactly what we need to be doing for A'ja freaking Wilson. All right, we already know A'ja Wilson was great. We know that. That's not a shocker, right? She's a walking double-double, right? 3-time MVP. One of the most dominant forces this league has ever seen. But Sunday night, guys, y'all, Sunday night was different. Sunday night was pretty different. Against the Connecticut Sun, A'ja Wilson did not just have her normal big game, right? She didn't just have her normal big game. She had a first in the WNBA. I'm talking 32 points. Nothing we haven't seen before. It's A'ja Wilson. So, of course, 32 points, whatever. She had 32 points and 20 rebounds, guys. 32 points, 20 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, all in one game. Because A'ja Wilson is A'ja freaking Wilson, guys. That's what she does. It's literally what she does. It's literally how great of a player she is. A'ja Wilson is A'ja Wilson. And sometimes I gotta say, sometimes I really do gloss over A'ja Wilson stats because it's just you get used to it. Excuse me. It's like you get used to seeing greatness, and that's one of those things that like is a bummer for basically all-time great players, right? You see them play, and you see how great of a player they are. That sometimes it gets a little bit like, whatever. We've seen it before. We're gonna see it again. But I want us to stop, and I want us to truly talk about this game yesterday. Again, 32 points, 20 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals. That's never been done before in this league. Not by Lisa Leslie, not by Candace Parker, not by Tamika Catchings, not by Diana Taurasi. Only one has had a stat line like that. And that one is A'ja freaking Wilson. A'ja is just being A'ja, which is the scary part, guys, because she made 30 and 20 in a night, something that has never existed in the WNBA record books. She made it happen, and she made it look routine. That's the thing about A'ja Wilson that is just insane. It's just insane. Because it looked normal. It looked normal. And for those who are like, oh, she's a free throw merchant and blah, blah, blah. She only had 6 free throws in yesterday's game. So what do you have to say now? She had 6 free throws. She made all 6. What do you have to say now? What do you have to say? Okay? This is the same A'ja Wilson that she just had a birthday, guys. Asia just had a birthday where she turned 29 years old. And she celebrated her birthday by scoring 29 points on Friday against the Seattle Storm. And then she follows it up 2 days later by rewriting the record books, right? The same A'ja Wilson who, earlier this year became the fastest and second youngest player to 5,000 career points. The same A'ja Wilson who leads the league in 30-point games since she came in 2018, right? The same A'ja Wilson who owns the record books for most points in a single season and a whole lot more. Yeah, that A'ja Wilson. Yeah. And also, you got to remember, she's on a team that is not like the team that she was on last year or even the year before. This has not been a perfect year for the Aces at all. They've been fighting in the middle of the standings all year. And A'ja Wilson, her scoring is, technically, guys, her scoring is down from last year. And for most players, having less points than you did last year on average, that may be seen as, oh, that person's fell off. Oh, that person's not very good. No, because this is A'ja freaking Wilson. This is not random people. It's not a random person, guys. Last year, A'ja Wilson averaged 26.9 points a game. This year, she's averaging 22.2. So yeah, is her scoring down? Sure. And yet, she's still averaging more than 21 points a game, 9 rebounds a night, putting up 30 points, close to 30 points in her last couple of games. A'ja Wilson is A'ja Wilson, guys. Talk. What are we talking about? In her last 3 games, she had 32 points, 29 points, 27 points. All right? Last month, she had a 34-point game, right? Actually, no. Last month, she had 34, 37, and 34 in terms of points. Dog, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? A'ja Wilson is literally carrying the Aces. Yes, shout out to Jackie Young. Jackie Young is doing her thing too. But it really is on A'ja Wilson's shoulders. So yeah. You got Napheesa Collier in the mix for MVP. She was my front runner before she got injured. You got Alyssa Thomas, who's always in the conversation for MVP. But after Sunday night, the reigning MVP might just have made it a whole lot harder for voters to look anywhere else. Because if this is a continuation of A'ja Wilson being A'ja Wilson, then the rest of the league might just be in trouble. And the MVP race, wide open. That's what I got. With Napheesa Collier being out for probably at this point, probably another 2 weeks, this race, dog, it might just be A'ja Wilson's to take now. Now again, my top 3, I've said it before, my top 3, Napheesa Collier, Alyssa Thomas, A'ja Wilson. But if A'ja Wilson continues to do what she's doing, hey, she might just leapfrog to both of them. All right? She might just leapfrog the both of them. Yeah. Yeah. Because it's fantastic to see. It really is. Anna Logie says it's Connecticut. Okay. I'm gonna take this comment. And yes, you're right. It is Connecticut. And Connecticut has not been that great this season. But let me tell you guys something. The whole it's Connecticut thing that people use as an argument, or like, oh, it's this team that's not very good, that people use as an argument to downgrade and to dismiss what someone has done. If it's just Connecticut, and if it means nothing because Connecticut sucks, why hasn't somebody else done it? At this point, I believe every single WNBA team has played the Connecticut Sun at least once. Where's the other 32 point, 20 rebound game? Where is it? Where is it? If Connecticut is so bad that everybody's having historic numbers against them, why hasn't anybody else done that? Yeah. Why hasn't someone else done that this year? They've played against every team in the W. Who else has had that stat? Who else? Well, I tell you, it's only one player. One player. And that is the A'ja Wilson. So, yeah. Sometimes like you can't, first of all, Connecticut is way better than their record shows, number one. And number two, even if you say they're the worst team that ever existed, even if you say that, all other teams played against them. No one else had that stat. Right? Yeah. Because if it did guarantee that, we would have seen it already. We would have seen it. What we talking about here? What we talking about, man? Come on now. What we talking about? Like, no need to downplay greatness. Like, literally what we saw yesterday was greatness. It was greatness personified in one person, and that is the A1 herself, A'ja Wilson. Dog. Row 2 says, Quita, wait for it. Cricket's coming. Why hasn't anyone else done it? A'ja cannot be diminished despite the team being played. The worst team narrative is old. Yeah. Okay. So Donna says, why hasn't she done this against other teams, Quita? Why hasn't A'ja Wilson had 32 points and 20 rebounds against any other team? Why hasn't she done it? Well, she's had 32 plus points before, right? She had 34 points against LA, 10 rebounds in that game. She had 37 points against Dallas, 10 rebounds in that game. She had 34 points against the Golden State Valkyries, 16 rebounds in that game. Right? And if y'all are like, oh, those teams are not very good. She had 26 points against the Phoenix Mercury, 18 rebounds in that game, 7 assists in that game as well. Here's the deal. If you want to use the argument, well, why hasn't she done that against other teams? Why hasn't anybody else done that? Ever, period, in the history of the WNBA. Dog, what we doing? What we doing? No, she has not had that stat line against another team in the WNBA this year. Because no one literally has done it ever in WNBA history until she did it yesterday. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? And in terms of 30 plus games, I just went over the 30 plus games that she's had this year. Right? Dog. In the other 30-point games she's had this year, she's had a double-double. So, yeah. truly, I don't see an argument that someone can try to give to downplay what A'ja Wilson did yesterday. What's your argument? What's the argument, right? What's the argument? I mean, yeah, that's it. That's it. What else is there to say? Dog, what else you got? What else you got? You got anything? And like, this is not me being, I'm not trying to be a jerk. When I'm talking this way, I'm really, truly not trying to be a jerk. But truly, I don't understand how you can downplay this. I don't get it. Like, I really don't. This is not me trying to be a jerk. How do you find a way to downplay this? How do you downplay this? Because you can't. You can't downplay this. You can't. And hey, if you have an argument, if you can't think of it in the chat, once this video is published, can we try to figure something else out for an argument against what you did yesterday? If so, put it in the chat. I want to hear it. I want to hear it. All right. Mel says negative assist to turnover ratio. LOL. And yes, she did have a negative assist to turnover ratio. Yesterday, she had 6 turnovers, had 5 assists. So yes, negative. Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about that. Okay. 32 points, 20 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, 6 turnovers. Yes. Is the turnovers not good? Absolutely. Sure. Is she negative in the assist turnover ratio? Absolutely. But she got 2 steals. So if you add that, I mean, yeah. And also, yeah, sometimes people get turnovers. I'd take somebody given 6 turnovers if they're giving me 32 points and 20 rebounds and 5 assists. I'll take that. I'll take it. Right? Because, again, remember, 32 points, though. 32 points. And did it cost her team the game? No, it did not. Now, I'm not a A'ja Wilson stan. That's not what I am. It's not what I am. However, I am someone who loves the game of women's basketball. And when I see greatness, I gotta talk about it. I gotta talk about it. Donna says, Quita, can A'ja do this against the Lynx? ? No. Well, Donna, we don't know. Maybe. Here's the thing. Can anyone do this against any team in the WNBA? At this point, no. So, yeah. So the argument of, can she do this against the Lynx? I don't know. Maybe she can, maybe she can't. But again, no one has done this. No one has done this. So no one against any other team in the WNBA has been able to do this. And so, like, again, you're trying to stack the bar to downgrade her, and it's like, dog, what are you talking about? No one has done this. No one. So yeah. That's what I got to say. So again, maybe she can, maybe she can't. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. Guys. The Indiana Fever have added a familiar face to WNBA fans who follow the grind of WNBA players, right? The Indiana Fever have picked up Odyssey Sims. This is a player who thrives when her back is against the wall. Odyssey Sims has officially signed a hardship contract with the Indiana Fever. And if history is any indication, meaning last year, is any indication, she could just be a game changer in the following weeks ahead. Huge, huge pickup for the Indiana Fever. And guys, I'm a little confused about why some other teams did not pick her up. Weird. Very, very, very weird. But let's go to Odyssey Sims, right? Let's go to Odyssey Sims. And let's talk about how great she was. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, okay? Because Odyssey Sims is a baller. Now I wanna walk through how much of a baller she really is. This is someone who is in her 11th season in the WNBA. And to set the scene, kind of, Indiana's point guard rotation has been decimated. We all know this. Sydney Colson, season-ending ACL tear. We got Ari McDonald, season-ending foot fracture. We got Caitlin Clark. She's been out since mid-July with a groin injury, missing 18 games so far this year. That left the Indiana Fever with no natural point guard on the roster, and it left Kelsey Mitchell running the offense out of position. So, enter Odyssey Sims, a 33-year-old, 11-year vet in the WNBA, former All-Star, and someone who has made a career out of answering the call in tough circumstances. Now, guys, she's averaged... this is someone who has always been able to find buckets just about anywhere on the court. In her career, she's averaged 11 points and nearly 4 assists per game through her career. And she's done it on some of the league's biggest franchises, guys. She's played for Minnesota. She's played for LA. She even played for Tulsa. Remember Tulsa? Remember the Tulsa Shock? Remember that? It was the Detroit Shock, then it went to Tulsa, then it went to Dallas. You all remember that? Right? She played for Atlanta. She has played for Connecticut. She basically played for basically every single team in the WNBA at some point. Not every single team. I'm exaggerating, but you get my point. She's played for more teams than basically most people in the W. And the thing that makes this signing really interesting is her recent history. If you all remember last year, remember last year, 2024. It was a glorious time for the WNBA, right? So you all probably remember it. Okay, let's talk about last year, guys. The Dallas Wings, towards the midseason of last year for the Dallas Wings, they were injured, big time injured. I'm talking so many players out. What are you going to do? Injured. And who did they sign to a hardship contract? They signed Odyssey Sims. And last year, Odyssey Sims proceeded to absolutely dominate, guys. Odyssey Sims was on a hardship contract. Hardship. Meaning she only was on the team because of injuries. And last year, she wound up playing in 9 games for the Dallas Wings. And in those 9 games, she was excellent. Wind up being a starter as a hardship contract. As a hardship contract player, ended up starting. Started 7 of 9 games. Averaged 17.2 points a game. 5.6 assists per game. She was literally, guys, on fire with the Dallas Wings, right? She was on fire. She was absolutely fantastic with the Dallas Wings. And remember, this team was severely injured last year. She came in the door, acted like this team, like she owned the team, right? She dropped like 18 points in her first game or something like that. She snapped the losing streak that the Dallas Wings had. And and she was in the starting lineup next thing you knew. Right? She gave Dallas the veteran spark that they really needed. And then Dallas' situation changed. They didn't end up signing her for the rest of the season, which was kind of wild. But she slid on over to LA on another hardship deal. Kind of flying in late, not knowing any plays really, but running with some confidence. And she made a difference there too. She made a difference with the LA Sparks last year. Last year when she joined the LA Sparks for the last remaining games of the season, she averaged 9.8 points a game, 5.1 assists per game. Yeah. Odyssey Sims is what you call an impact game changer. That's what she is. She's an impact player. She's a game changer. And that's not just talk. Like some players act like they're a game changer and whatever, and then you see them join a bad situation and they don't do anything. Odyssey Sims, literally, she went into bad situation last year. And she made an impact. She was huge, right? And she's a player who coaches have a lot of trust in because she's been in the league for a long time. She stays ready. She takes care of her body, and she's ready to go. A vocal leader that can make an impact on a team that's not very good. Right? Here's the thing. Intangibles matter, and that's what Odyssey Sims has. She has energy. She has a fight. She has a will to win. And she's fearless. Now, guys, I got to admit this. She signed with the LA Sparks this year. And for some reason, that didn't work out. Right? She started off the season with the LA Sparks on a real contract. Ended up getting waived by the LA Sparks. Now, truly, guys, I don't totally know. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened with her in LA. I don't get it because, again, she started off this season, again, really good for the LA Sparks. This year, she averaged 9.8 points a game, 3.5 assists per game. And yeah, she got waived from the team, which I don't understand why that happened. I need to look into that a little bit more. I don't know. But when I tell you, when she comes in as a hardship, this is like the Dallas Wings was decimated with injuries. The Indiana Fever are decimated with injuries. And I just want to say, watch her work. Watch her work. That's all I got to say. All right, that's the stream. Thank y'all so much for rocking with me. Sims is going to do her thing. I guarantee you she's going to end up in the starting lineup until Caitlin Clark returns. I could totally see her being in the starting lineup, which would allow Kelsey Mitchell and Sophie Cunningham to shift back to their normal positions, right? And if she keeps producing, yeah, she gonna stay around for this playoff run, and Odyssey Sims is not just a stopgap for this team. She is someone who has been there before. She's delivered before, and if she did it before, she could do it again. Okay? If she did it before, she could do it again. I'm just saying. 1, 2. But that was if he did it before. He could do it again. Anyway, guys, that's the stream, guys. That's the stream. Yeah. Guys, so if Indiana gives her the ball, hey, history says she's going to make something happen. So shout out to Odyssey Sims on getting back with another team on a hardship contract, and we'll see what she can do. Because again, guys, if she did it before, she could do it again. All right. Thank y'all so much for rocking with me. If y'all could, make sure to hit that like button. It really does help the channel out a whole lot. Also, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I make content all about women's basketball, so make sure to follow me here. All right, guys, that's the stream. I don't have anything else to say. I went on a long tangent about a whole bunch of stuff, so sorry about that. Hopefully, y'all were able to make it through the stream, and I will see y'all in the next one. Until next time, guys. Bye-bye.
Are you ready?
Ready, set, go.